letting herself get carried away in search of a miracle that had no more chance of being granted now than it had been 3 years ago. Wasn't she? Kate rubbed her right temple, where a headache was beginning to throb. At this point, she had no idea. Somewhere along the way, she'd lost perspective on the whole thing. If she'd ever had it to begin with. Maybe she needed to give herself another 24 hours to reason this through before she made a fool of herself yet again. More time and space might restore her usual clear thinking. And, if the urge to seek help was as strong a day or two down the road, she could always return. Yes, good plan. Decision made, she rose, just as the beach party babe receptionist re-entered the room through the door behind her desk, the unicorn tattoo on her forearm front and center as she pushed through. If the rest of this place hadn't been so tasteful, and if the police detective, undercover ATF, and Secret Service credentials of the PIs on the website hadn't been so impressive, she'd never have stepped foot inside when the 20-something woman released the security locks on the front door promptly at 8 o'clock. Do you need to use the ladies' room? The platinum blonde indicated the door behind her. Or I'll be happy to get you a beverage, if you've changed your mind. No, I think I'll just come back later. Kate made a pretense of consulting her watch as she edged toward the front door. I have a meeting this morning, and I have a few things I need to pull together for it. This stop might delay me too much. Of course. Why don't I take your name and a phone number so I can pass it on to Connor Sullivan, the PI who is planning to speak with you? The receptionist moved behind her desk and rummaged through a drawer. As the woman made a project out of retrieving a pen and piece of paper, Kate bit her lip. She'd prefer to slip away anonymously, but what could it hurt to provide some basic contact information? All she had to do if the PI followed up was say she'd changed her mind. After spending an inordinate amount of time shuffling through the drawer, the receptionist withdrew a pen, sat, and aimed an expectant look across her desk. The name's Kate Marshall. She edged closer to the exit. My cell number is... The door to the back offices opened again. This time, a raven-haired man in a tie and subtly patterned sport jacket stepped through, his assertive, take-charge air softened by a killer dimple. Sorry to keep you waiting. His gaze dropped to the keys she'd dug out of her purse, and he exchanged a glance with the receptionist. Ms. Marshall was concerned that meeting with you would make her late for a prior commitment. I was just taking her contact information. The woman inclined her head to the pad of paper in front of her. He scanned it, then walked across the waiting area, hand extended. Connor Sullivan, I don't want to delay you, but if you have even a few minutes to spare, a quick conversation now might save you a trip back later. Cornered. She eyed his lean, powerful-looking fingers as he paused in front of her. Short of being rude, she couldn't ignore his polite, professional overture. So much for her fast escape. Stifling a sigh, she transferred her keys to her left hand and placed her fingers in his. They were instantly swallowed in a warm, firm grip that somehow, with one squeeze, conveyed strength, competence, and integrity. How had he done that? She looked up and up again into his face. The Phoenix website hadn't identified which PI held which credential, but based on this guy's polished, clean-cut appearance, not to mention his authoritative bearing, she'd be willing to bet he was Secret Service. As for her plan to bolt, she wavered as his eyes sucked her in. Dark as obsidian, they searched, discerned, and reassured, all in the space of a few heartbeats, prompting her to draw 3 rapid conclusions. This was a man who would listen, evaluate, and come to sound conclusions. This was a man who would treat her story with respect. This was a man she could trust. The silence lengthened until the receptionist, hidden from her view behind the PI's broad shoulders, cleared her throat.